Soulmates. Everyone had one. There were two ways you would know was someone. Oh my God. There were two ways you would know someone was your soulmate. A black patch on your skin and the first words they would ever say to you. When you both touch for the first time, the spot burns into colors, and the words on your skin seem to glow as your soulmate says them before turning bright gold. As long as you and your soulmate are alive, the words stay gold. Some kids were lucky, getting their soulmates early in life. They would spend days talking and playing with these kids and becoming close friends until they were old enough to finally date. Some people didn't meet their soulmate until they were adults, and others never met them. But you had given up on finding your soulmate long ago. Being the only kid in your school without a soulmate leads to lots of bullying, mainly done by people in twos, of course. And by middle school, you hid the word scribbled on your skin in shame of being seen and hoped no one asked about your soulmate. While kids were proudly showing their golden marks, you were hiding out in the library or listening to music. When high school started, you finally seemed to escape from soulmates and everyone asking. Since everyone had already met their soulmate, no one bothered you. You didn't get close to many kids and hid from any sort of interaction in fear of getting bullied again. So, when you transferred to UA for your last year of hero training, you didn't expect much. Just finish your school year, become a pro hero, and pray to God that you don't get caught up with a soulmate. It wasn't that you didn't want one, it just seemed like a bother. Everyone acted as if soulmates were this great thing, but you saw no point in it. Why would you need a soulmate when you were a hero? You would be busy saving lives. No time for a boyfriend or girlfriend. But maybe this year would be different and put you a hope. Maybe you would find your soulmate and finally fit in. If you found them, you could possibly finally get friends. Hopefully, your soulmate was nice. You couldn't handle meeting your soulmate to only find out they were a total jerk or some overconfident playboy. As always, you had your head down as you scanned around the hallways of the large school. So far, no one had tried to talk to you. Thank God for that. You didn't want to introduce yourself to the class and go through the humiliation of having kids rush up and trying to talk and be your friend. You were kind of an introvert, but it might be because of your past. Given the chance, maybe you could be a bit more outgoing. The safety of the classroom was just at your fingertips, so close. You could already imagine the sweet relief of sitting in your seat at the back, quietly doing work, and no one staring at you or judging you. Perhaps they would see you for your quirk and power instead of your mark. That would be nice. Of course, nothing is too simple. And you bumped into a tall, dark-haired boy before you could even open the door. His head turned to stare at you as you trembled back and fell to the floor. What a great way to meet your first classmate. Sorry, I didn't mean to get in your way, you mumbled as you rubbed your head. His eyes widened as he backed away from you, shocked and embarrassed on his face. His friends turned and stared at you, then back at him, then back at you confused. Geez, he wasn't even gonna help you up or say sorry. If he didn't look so scared, you might have been mad. Okay then. You stood up and grabbed your books from the floor, the boy watching you in silence as he shook in his spot. When you went to grab a book, his feet by it. Oh my God. You went to grab a book by your... What? When you went to grab a book by his feet, your arms brushed against his ankle. And the next thing you knew, your arm was bursting in shades of violet and pink. What the? The colors made your head spin and your arm feel warm. You leaned back onto your knees and stared at your arm in infatuation. The boy was stuttering and shaking even harder. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I messed this up. He looked down in shame and tried to hide behind his hair. As he rumbled, you could see the light glow of gold coming from your upper arm. Your soulmate. If he was scared before, he looked mortified now. Before you could tell him it was all right and that you didn't mind, he had scuffled off into his classroom, leaving his two friends behind, smiling. As soon as he left, one of them grabbed you and helped you up. Wow! So you're Tamaki's soulmate, huh? This is so cool. The blonde guy smiled brightly at you. I'm Muriel. Don't mind Tamaki, he's just nervous. You tilted your head and glanced into the classroom. The poor boy Tamaki was standing in the corner with his face pressed against the wall. There was a dark aura around him as he pouted and wallowed in shame. From here, you couldn't really see his face, but you could see his slightly spiky blue hair. His spiky blue hair and his tall body. You couldn't help but giggle. He was kind of cute. Weird. I never thought I would meet my soulmate, to be honest, or that he would be so cute. You tapped your chin as he tensed. You thought he was cute? You must be saying this to pity him, or maybe this was some sort of prank. The anxiety was already creeping on him as a bell rang and everyone went to their seats. And of course, you had to sit right in front of him. 2 weeks later, Tamaki, you waved down the boy and smiled up at him. In only 2 weeks, your entire life had changed. You became friends with him and his friends almost instantly. You opened up, excitedly sharing your interests with the group, spending all your time with them, and even calling them your best friends. He still was nervous around you and barely spoke unless you talked to him. But boy, did you talk to him. It made him happy, though, in a way. It felt nice to have someone who cared. Plus, you were a soulmate, so you already wanted to be close to him. This did mean more socialization, but at least you didn't make fun of him. In fact, you were really nice to him. Hey, Yun. He gave you a shaky smile as he walked next to him. Both of you headed towards the school field. Since the temperature was slowly going back to being warm, you could spend most of your lunches outside with the three. How are you? I'm good. How are you? You gently hooked your arm with him and rested your head on his shoulder. As always, he tensed under your touch and glanced around to see if anyone was nearby. PDA was his least favorite thing. Normally, you weren't too clingy. He would die if you touched him too much. And since you both weren't dating, you didn't even kiss him or hold his hand in public. But even things like this made him anxious and worried. If it made you happy, though, he would go along. I'm fine. Tamaki quietly muttered as you tugged him towards one of the trees furthest from the school. This was odd. You normally sat by the school. Why were you taking him away from the school? If you weren't holding on to him so tightly, he would have tried to run away and go back to the school to just eat there with you and the others. That's good. Oh, I forgot to say about the guys said that they had some work they needed to do, so it's just us today. Alone? This couldn't end well. He already could think of 100 things he could do wrong. You dragged him down and sat next to him with a bright smile. At least being alone meant he was a little less worried about being judged. Then again, this also could be worse than being in public. Actually, I wanted to talk to you. You squirmed and looked up at him with a nervous smile. Oh God, You're gonna tell him that you hate him, aren't you? Or say that you didn't like being friends. Maybe you would slap him or tell him how worthless he was. What if you didn't want to be soulmates? Or if you liked someone else? He couldn't handle losing you. As nervousness as he was about things like this, he found himself really liking you and your bright happiness. It reminds me a bit of Muriel, but you were calmer than him. When you two were alone, you could be gentle and quiet, so you didn't stress him out too much. The thought of you, his soulmate, leaving him for someone better made his heart shatter. As if you could sense the dread and overthinking, not that hard to tell with his terrified look and sadness eyes, you grabbed his hand and squeezed them in your own. He looked at your hands and blushed. Tamaki, stop overthinking. I promise I'm not gonna say anything bad. I wanted to ask you out. Maybe come over for dinner? I could make you teriyaki if you wanted. You closed your eyes, worried he was gonna say no or tell you he wasn't interested. Or just, freak out and run away in static of panic. After a few seconds, you felt him shakily wrap his arms around you, a few tears falling on top of your head. Tamaki? I would love to, my bunny. Smiling, you hugged him tightly and kissed his cheek. Before he could pull away embarrassed, a dark blush covered his cheeks as he stared down at you. The scared look in his eyes was almost completely gone, a happy and love-filled look replacing it. Your soulmate, Tamaki Amajiki. I don't know why, but I swear I've either A, read this book, or B, I've just heard it. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And by the way, if you didn't know, this is for both female and males, so that's why there's no she or him in it for you, only for him. But I hope you guys enjoyed this so much. And oh my god, where I am, it's finally getting warmer. Thank the Lord, because it has been so freezing cold. We've been in the negatives and I'm not used to that weather. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye, lovelies.